Hello, Accelerated Math 6-7 students. We are working in Module 7, and this is going to be Lesson 6. And the name of the lesson is Finding Equivalent Ratios Given the Total Quantity. So go ahead and write that in your table of contents and then turn to the correct page. All right, like I said, finding equivalent ratios given the total quantity. All right, hopefully you have that written down and you're ready to start. Okay, so our goal for today we will work on finding equivalent ratios involving fractions. The question that I want you to be thinking about during this lesson is, how does the total quantity help you find equivalent ratios? And so what I would like to do to practice this is we have a story, and the story is that there is a group of hikers that are going on a trip, and each hiker has their own personal weight and the weight of their backpack to carry around. And so what we're trying to figure out is, what is the total weight? Or if you're given the total weight, what would be the weight of the hiker and the backpack? Or if you're only given the weight of the hiker, can you find the backpack's weight and the total weight? And so we're going to use our information about finding unit rates to help us determine if the relationship between the hiker's weight and the backpack's weight is proportional, so that we can find the missing values. And so one of the ways to be successful with this is we're going to use the table. So as it says right here on the sheet, it says first find the rate to compare, then use the unit rate to find the missing amounts on the table. All right, so taking a look at this table, one of the things that you can automatically think about or deduct from the table is that if you take the hiker's weight and the backpack's weight together, that's going to give you the total weight that has to be carried around. And that's common sense, okay? But one of the things that we have to figure out is what happens when you're not given all of your information. So on the first two, we're given all of the information, so those will be very easy to do. But on the third one, we're only giving one piece of information, and we still have to find this missing piece and this missing piece. On the next one, we're given this information, but missing this and missing this. And then the final question we're given this amount, and we're missing this and missing this. So there is a way to be able to solve them. And what you have to do is you have to figure out if there's a proportional relationship between the two amounts that you were given. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at this table as an extended ratio table. And that being said, this would be the x value, and this would be the y value. And the reason why we choose the hiker's weight as the independent variable is because the person is always going to weigh a certain amount. But we don't know what the backpack's weight would be without factoring in the weight of the hiker. And so that's why we're saying that the hiker will be the independent and the backpack is the dependent. All right? And so what we want to do first is, it says first find the rate to compare. So the rate that we are going to compare is we are going to compare the backpack's weight compared to the hiker's weight. Okay, and so this is our rate. Remember how I told you to always figure out what your rate would be. So we're comparing the backpack's weight to the hiker's weight. And so the reason why we want to do this is because we need to find out if there's a proportional relationship happening. Because if there's a proportional relationship happening, then we will always be able to find all the missing parts, because we'll use the unit rate to find the missing parts. All right, so first thing that we want to do is we want to figure out what is the unit rate of the backpack weight compared to the hiker's weight. And here's the part that most kids don't love, is we are using fractions. And what this means is that the backpack is 14 pounds and 8 ounces, because there's 16 ounces in a pound. And so we would do 8 out of 16, which simplifies to 1/2. So we would say the backpack weighs 14 pounds and 8 ounces. And so I just converted that into fractions for you to help you out. And the hiker weighs 152 pounds and 4 ounces because 4/16, so it would be 4 ounces, and I just simplified it for you. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the backpack's weight and the hiker's weight. So it's the backpack's weight compared to the hiker's weight, and we're trying to figure out what the unit rate would be. And so first thing we have to do is we have to convert these both to fractions greater than 1, and this is why I said that kids don't love this. But the other thing that you do know now that we are in 7th grade standards is that we get to use a calculator. So I'm going to take 152 times 4, and that gives me 608 plus 1 is 609. So this actually equals 609 fourths. Beautiful fraction. All right, and this one, I know 14 times 2 is 28, plus 1 is 29, so this one is 29 halves. And so now we're trying to find the unit rate. And so what we do is we're trying to get over here to 1. And what, if you remember, you multiply by the reciprocal, right? Because I would do 4 over 609, and then when I multiply it across and then divide it, I will get 1. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other, and so I'm going to do that process. And so to make some of my multiplying easier, you know that 2 goes into 2 once, and that 2 goes into 4 twice. So that makes it a little easier. And then I would know that 29 times 2 equals 58. So I have 58 over here, and 1 times 609 is 609. And so now I know that the unit rate is 58/609. Okay, now some of you are sitting here going, okay, Mrs. Nelson, why did you make us do all of that? Well, the reason why I wanted to do all of that was because I want to figure out what that constant is. Because remember what we've been studying where we said the x value times the constant gives you the y value. And so I wanted to see if we could come up with that. And so we know that the unit rate for this one is 58 over 609. Okay? And so I'm going to check the next one and see if it is a proportional relationship. And so the other thing I would like to check really quickly, though, is I want to see if 609 is divisible by 58, because that will give us a simpler fraction. And it looks like, oh, hold on, I must have typed something in wrong. I'm using my calculator. Let's see what we get. 609 divided by 58 equals 609 divided by 9 down to 2/21 because we have 2 of them. And so we need to make sure that all of them, like I told you before, all of them have to be checked to see if they're proportional. Okay, so now we have this one, which we're doing the backpacker's weight, which is 10 1/4 compared to 107 5/8. That's the hiker's weight. So again, we have to turn these into fractions greater than 1. So 4 times 10 is 40, plus 1 is 41/4 on the top. And then on the bottom, 107 times 8 is 856, plus 5 would give me 861. So this one is 861/8. Okay, and remember we're trying to get to 1. Hopefully it's going to be this exact same reduced fraction. We'll see. So we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So again, I can simplify it before I go, because 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 8 twice. So that would give me 82. And then on the bottom, I would have 861. So let's see if this will simplify even smaller. And so far it's working. So basically I'm taking 82 and dividing it by 2. And now I'm going to take 861 and divide it by 41. And it worked. Ah! Okay, so watch. If we take divided by 41 and divided by 41, we get 82 divided by 41 is 2. 861 divided by 41 is 21. So they do work. So we have learned by looking for the unit rate for both of them that this is a proportional relationship. Those are the only two we can choose because the other ones are missing, so we have to use the unit rate to help us find the missing amounts. Okay, so if you remember and think back to what we were doing in our notes, we took the x value times the unit rate, and that's how we get the y value. So because of needing room, I'm going to do that. So the first thing I need to do is convert this into a fraction greater than 1. So I'm going to take 129 times 16 equals a very large number plus 15 equals, and so I get 2,079 sixteenths. That's what that is as a fraction greater than 1. So you take the x value, so that's this guy, times the unit rate or the constant, and that will give you your y value. Okay, so we're using a calculator. 2079 times 2 equals gigantic, that guy. And then I'm taking 16 times 21, and I get this number, which, if you take that out of that to find out the backpack's weight, let's see what happens. So I'm going to take 4,158 divided by 336, and I get 12. So I know the backpack weighs 12 something, right? So now I'm going to take that number times 12, and that gives me 4032. So now I'm going to take 8158 minus 4032, and I get 126, 336, which can simplify. Let's try simplifying it by, let's go 6. 126 divided by 6 equals 21. So that would be 21 on the top. 336 divided by 6 is 56. I think we can go again. Actually, I know we can because it can both be divided by 7. So this one would be 3, and this one would be 8. So we know that the backpack weighs 12 ounces, or 12 pounds and 6 ounces, or 12 and 3/8 pounds. So that's the size of that one. So see how we can use our unit rate from down below, and we take the x value and multiply it by the unit rate, and we find the weight of the backpack. So here's the backpack. Okay, so now you're thinking to yourself, why are we doing all this? Okay, so here's why we're doing all this. We have to find the total weight. So remember, the hiker's weight plus the backpack's weight gives us the total weight, yes? So very quickly, let's convert this to fourths, because we remember when we were working with fractions, you have to have a common denominator. How'd you get there? Times 2, times 2, times 2. Okay, so now we know that we have 152 and 1/4 plus 14 and 2/4. Well, 1/4 plus 2/4 equals 3/4, yes? And then 152 plus 14 would give me 6, and then 1 plus 5 is 6, and then 1. So the total weight is 166 and 3/4. Does everybody see how I did that? Okay, so moving on to the next one, I'm going to convert this guy to 8 so that we can combine, multiply by 2, have to do what you do to one side to the other. So now I'm going to take 5/8 plus 2/8 gives me 7/8, and then I know that 107 plus 10 is 117. So that one was easy, right? Okay, so now we're going to do the next one, and we have 16ths here, and we have 8ths here. So we know that this would be 6/16 because you times both by 2. So now we have 15/16 with combined with 6/16, which would give me 21/16, which is a fraction greater than 1. So we know that we are going to go in there 1 time. So this one equals 1 and 5/16. So our size over here is going to be 5/16. And then I'm going to take 129 plus 12 plus 1. So 129 plus 12 plus 1 gives me 142 and 5/6 pounds. So we found the total weight. So boys and girls, do you see what we did? Not anything that was super difficult, but it was just a lot of steps. So I'm going to leave these two bottom ones for you to try and do on your own, and we'll talk about it in class if we hit any hiccups. Remember, here is your unit rate, also known as your constant, also known as the constant rate of change, and that is very, very important because you have to use your constant to find the y value, all right? So I would like you to try it. The other thing I'm going to throw up here, the thing to remember is, remember, you get y by taking the constant or the unit rate times the x value. Remember, this is unit rate or constant. Okay, so remember that. All right, so I want you to try those and see what you can do. Our goal for today we will work on finding equivalent ratios involving fractions. Holy moly, we did. How does the total quantity help you find the equivalent ratios? Because you plug in what you don't know based on what you have. All right, so that's all I have for today's lesson, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.